In this gripping conclusion to our three-part series on credible UFO sightings since Roswell, Colonel Gene explores the mysterious wave of triangular aircraft reported across the globe, from Belgium to the Persian Gulf, and even above military battle groups. Backed by radar data, eyewitness testimony, and government scrutiny, these sightings challenge conventional explanations and raise serious questions about the origin and intent of these unidentified craft.
Hi folks, it's Colonel Gene again with another episode of Alien Agenda. Today we're going to conclude with a third episode describing some of the sightings that I think were very credible after Roswell in 1947. On November the 29th, 1989, an incident known as the Belgian UFO Wave with sightings at 80 locations across Belgium took place. There were over 150 identical reports covering this period of 18 months. The sightings all reported triangular aircraft with 3 white lights on each of the corners and a red light in the center of the craft. On April the 4th, 1990, a picture was taken of the triangular craft. It was sent for an extensive year-long examination, and it was determined to be genuine. Infrared analysis of the picture taken in Belgium showed that the aircraft was most likely being propelled by an electromagnetic system. The aircraft went from speeds of 150 knots to more than 990 knots in less than a second, and this information was confirmed by radar. In England, 3 years later, they had a series of identical sightings of triangular aircraft with the same lights. Discounting a single report is one thing. Ignoring 150 reports that are virtually identical over an 18-month period is another. The detailed analysis of the photograph taken is another important piece of evidence supporting this sighting. On March 30th, 1990, near Brussels, 2 F-16 pilots observed a UFO that was triangular in nature. It had 3 white lights on each of the points and a red light in the center. The aircraft was tracked visually by the F-16s, and they used their onboard radar as well to confirm their sightings. It was tracked going as fast as 990 knots. We have another incident that was confirmed visually by a pilot who saw the craft, again verified it with his onboard radar, and people on the ground independently saw the same incident that was reported. On January the 27th, 1991, a soldier in Iraq codenamed JT saw a triangular shape about 1,000 feet long with lights at each point of the triangle. He was stationed near Hafar al-Abatin and had been in the U.S. Army for 24 years. It was believed that his sighting was legitimate. In 1992, a Michael Villa, an intelligence analyst on board a ship in the Persian Gulf, saw a triangular aircraft in the daytime sky above the ship. The triangular craft was black with white lights at each point and made absolutely no sound. Villa observed the object from an observation point at the highest point of the mast. He said he was close enough that he could see every detail of the spacecraft. Villa was a highly trained individual, and his claim about seeing this spacecraft in the daylight from the mast of the ship is very credible. It is not something that was reported far off in the distance. It was not at night or at dusk. It was not just a blip on a radar screen. It was clearly visible, according to Michael Villa, and unless this witness was lying, how would we discount such an account? In the aircraft battle group, including the Princeton and the Nimitz, a phenomenon took place where the air was filled with what looked like a fleet of spaceships hovering over the entire battle group. F-18s were no match for what were described as Tic Tac shaped aircraft. And in fact, this is what this incident has been dubbed the Tic Tac Incident. Many people in this battle group observed this incident in November of 2004. We now know that the Pentagon has created agencies to study UFOs. The threat identification program that studies encounters between the military and the UFOs was authorized by Congress, and they have held hearings about this, including the Tic Tac affair in November of 2004. September 2019, Chris Mellon, formerly the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence under both Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, interviewed former military intelligence analyst whose name has been withheld about his sightings of alien aircraft in the Canyons National Park in Utah. The analyst said the craft moved across the ground as if it were searching for something or mapping the area. He took pictures that were later analyzed and found to be absolutely authentic. The number of such sightings alarmed Mellon. Bill Scott of Aviation Week told Mellon that his magazine had plotted the sightings of these triangular craft and found that many of the sightings appeared to be over military bases, especially those with nuclear weapons, including bases in other countries throughout the world. Chris Mellon also interviewed David Marler from Mutual UFO Network, who had over 17,000 documented UFO sightings. Mr. Mellon is the author of Triangular UFO. The reference is of particular interest due to the fact that Chris Mellon was a very important official in the United States government. Throughout his very distinguished career, he was keenly focused on unconventional national threats. He now works as a civilian with a group called To the Stars Academy in Arts and Science. This group has been trying to encourage greater investigation by the U.S. defense and intelligence communities concerning UFOs. He said his motivation was due to the increase in the number of such sightings, especially over sensitive military areas. He has received reports from many highly trained and credible witnesses. In addition, this information has been corroborated by some of the most leading-edge technology, including infrared video taken by fighter jet pilots. Mr. Mellon has stated that some of the incidents at high-level strategic threat by unknown operators. The interference between Mr. Mellon and the History Channel is significant in the UFO investigation. The 2004 aircraft carrier incident that we talked about earlier, the Tic Tac Incident, is another of one of the most credible and outstanding incidents that Mellon investigated. There is concern that the Russians or Chinese had leapfrogged over our technology and are responsible for some of these sightings. It is also possible that what we are observing is not of this world. It is clear, however, that the spacecraft seen in these encounters have capabilities far beyond what the United States currently possesses, and most likely beyond anything on this earth. Mr. Mellon has not come to any conclusions, but he does believe it is imperative that we investigate UFOs and learn their origin and capabilities. July the 25th and 27th, 2020, the Department of Defense released videos from 3 encounters with aircraft that are being called Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon, UAP. Previously, this information had been kept secret. The vehicles involved in these encounters are referred to as off-world vehicles. Their capabilities far exceed anything that the United States has or that we believe any other nation on Earth possesses. In July 2020, on the 25th of Popular Mechanics, had an article by Andrew Daniels that reported Harry Reid from Nevada believes that spacecraft from other worlds have crashed on our planet. He said material recovered from these crashes have been studied and used by the government contractors for decades. This reinforces the claims of Colonel Carzo, who contended that for 2 years he provided materials from Roswell crash sites to contractors to be used in weapons development. Reid's statement is also in agreement with the deathbed declaration of Norma Gardner, who claimed that she had cataloged over thousands of items taken from alien crashes. Finally, it supports the deathbed declaration from Lieutenant Hout, who confirmed the crash at Roswell and that he saw both the aliens and the alien ship with his own two eyes. In June, the Senate had hearings concerning appropriations for the operation for fiscal year 2021. The government's UAP currently resides in the Office of Naval Intelligence. The Unified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force is meant to standardize and collect reportings and sightings. In recent years, there have been many reports of many aircraft over sensitive installations in cities. The frequency and detailed descriptions followed by radar contact and trained pilot observations make ignoring these sightings nearly impossible. In July 2020, the New York Times reported that Eric Davis, an astrophysicist who consulted on the UFO project, said that the materials defense contractors had in their possession and examined came from off-world vehicles not made on Earth. I hope you have enjoyed this series of sightings since 1947. Please tell your friends about our podcast, Alien Agenda. Again, if you or someone else would like to share your personal experiences on our podcast, please contact Deborah Wallace at Deborah@pcm.agency. That's Deborah@pcm.agency. Until the next time, when we look into even more interesting aspects of the UFO sightings, this is Colonel Gene saying, be safe until next we meet on Alien Agenda.
In The Alien Step-In, a secret Chinese mission alters the past, forcing the U.S. to intervene, unleashing a chain reaction that draws the attention of an advanced alien race. Commander Sansa issues a warning: Earth must stop all time travel. But instead of force, he offers a solution: a delegation to planet Galner, where a mysterious gift awaits, one that could change how we understand Earth's history forever. Find out what happens in The Alien Step-In, available now on Amazon and major book retailers. Learn more at GenePAbelBooks.com.